My name's Leif. I am a managing partner of a small company called a Social Selling Company. We are 8 years old, and what we do is we help people using LinkedIn, both for getting new jobs, for personal branding, and also, of course, by using it from a commercial point of view. The idea today is to give you a lot of inspiration. I hope you will jot down some notes from here. Also to give you some specific knowledge, I'm going to go on LinkedIn and show you things. And then maybe I'm also here to push you a little bit in regards to how to use LinkedIn. Remember, it's just there's no questions too large or too small to answer, so feel free to participate. I also have time to, of course, to go on LinkedIn to show you things. If you say live this button, how does that work? So feel free to interrupt here. And then I hope I can give you some new energy when it comes to using LinkedIn for job search. I have some topics that I would like to cover in this presentation. The first one is, of course, what is it that characterizes a professional LinkedIn profile? I'm going to talk about how you can expand your network, because that's actually a very important part when you are looking for a new job, because we need to be connected to, hopefully be connected with the right people. I'm also going to talk about how you can publish a post, because being proactive and actually asking the network and the network for help is a very efficient way, and I have an example on how you can do it. And then, of course, ask any questions. I would actually prefer you just do it during the presentation. You don't need to wait till the end. All right, let's start with the thing about what characterizes a professional LinkedIn profile. First of all, it needs to be professional, because when people come and visit your profile, let's say it's a headhunter or a recruiting person or an internal person in the company or the hiring manager, they need to get a good impression when they visit your profile. And when it comes to this, it's also very important that we optimize it for being searchable. Actually, quite a number of people are not very easy to find on LinkedIn, because when you haven't set up your profile with a minimum number of informations and keywords, it's going to be very hard for people to search for you. You need to understand that first of all, LinkedIn is indexing your profile, but Google is also indexing your profile. So this can actually have a positive effect, both when people are using the search function on LinkedIn, but also when they're searching in general for people. So this is a very important part, and I'll of course come back to what you need to make sure is set up on your profile. And then you can also build what I actually call digital equity by using your LinkedIn profile, by adding information, not only now, but also when you get a new job, when you get, let's say that you get an additional education, stuff like that. Continue to add these things to your profile, because it will keep up the value of it. So you have to be aware of that when people are looking at your LinkedIn profile, you only have a very short moment. Actually, LinkedIn did some tests a couple of years ago where they put eye cameras on people's head to see how long time they were visiting or looking at a profile, and they only spent about 2.5 seconds to get this impression of the profile, whether it's professional or less professional. And it's quite obvious, of course, but nevertheless, I always say that it doesn't help that your profile looks like an old car. Regardless how nice an old car it could be, it's much better to have a professional profile that actually leaves this very good impression of people. You also have to have in mind that we live in a world where digital trustworthiness is going to become more and more important. When you say you're good at this, some people, especially when hired, might check it out and say, does it actually reflect the same thing that is on your LinkedIn profile? Of course, you should not overdo it. You can do a lot of things on LinkedIn. You can add things, and I'm going to talk more about that too. But don't overdo it, because then it's of course going to be too much anyway. I'm going to talk right now about what is called the LinkedIn Profile Strength Meter. Is there any one of you, when you've logged on to LinkedIn, can you remember you've been seeing this meter saying something like, "Hey, you need to fill this out"? Have you seen this prompt when you see your profile? You're nodding, yes. This is the point you actually need. You need to take everything I say, of course, seriously. But this is very important, because when a profile doesn't come up to what is called star level or all-star level, it's going to be very hard for people to find you because not everything is in your profile. And what you need to have in order to become all-star, we need to have a summary, we need to have a location added, we need to have current position. And even though you might have a specific job right now, it can be a student job, or you can put in or fill in what I would call a dummy job. It does need to have something about a current position, industry code, photo, education, and minimum 5 skills. If you do this, you will have all-star level. If you don't see this one here in your profile, on whether you're using your mobile phone or go and visit the desktop version, if you cannot see this, that means your profile is all-star. So maybe it's already okay, but if you log in and out of LinkedIn, this one should prompt you if you don't have filled out all things here on this one. Okay, but let's try to jump to LinkedIn now to talk more specifically on what actually characterizes a LinkedIn profile. So I'll just change over here to find LinkedIn here. Just a second. Just need to find it among too many windows here. LinkedIn. Here it was. All right, I'll just change this over. I thought I changed it, but I'll just change this over so you can see it in English first. All right. First thing you need to make sure that you have that are looking good is that your profile photo needs to be having a professional look. We normally recommend that you have one in color. You also should have one where it actually have the better part of your face. At least you should definitely not have what I call a full figure profile photo where you can be seen in full body, because when we are the majority of people are looking at your profile via a smartphone, and if you have these full figure profile photos, you can just not see who the person is. So the same size as my profile photo, LinkedIn recommend that your face takes up a minimum 60% of the space of the profile photo. You should look into the camera, you should smile, you should look approachable, you should not look away, you should not be like something where you're wondering about things, or if you're having a keynote where you're talking to people, look into the camera because you want to connect with the person that are looking at your profile. Color, I said, make sure that you don't have a lot of things in the background that actually can disturb the impression of you. The other thing you can have is you can also add a profile video. You need to do that via the mobile version of LinkedIn. You can add a 30-second presentation of yourself. So consider that also as a way of reaching out. When people are clicking at this one, you can actually tell them that you're looking for, you're newly educated, that you're looking for this and that job within this industry. So that's another way of presenting things. The way you update your profile photo is pretty easy. If you click here on me in the top menu bar and click on view profile, then you are in what I call edit mode of your profile. You can see you have these pencils here that indicates that you're in edit mode. And you can always just click on your profile photo to get the options. Another thing that is important, you feel free to actually sit and do this while I show you it, is that your profile photo should be visible for anyone, because let's see here, if I'll use Mohammed as an example. I hope that's okay, Mohammed. If you set your settings, for instance, to this one where it says first degree, and let's say, Mohammed, I don't think we're connected, but if you send me an invitation to connect, then in the invitation, it would only show an avatar. It would not show an image of you. And then I would just say, is this a fake profile? Is Mohammed not active? So therefore, it's very important that you actually set this for anyone. The other thing where it would actually go through, depending if you're hiding your for instance, with this one, if you're hiding the image, is that, again, I'll use Mohammed as an example. If Mohammed is not connected with me and he has the setting of only setting pictures for first degree, then if Mohammed is commenting on my profile, I would again not be able to see an image of who this person is. And we trust people through images. So therefore, make sure that you set this one to anyone, particularly also because when you're looking for a new job, when recruitment people are looking at your profile, maybe they think it's a sleeping or inactive profile. So set this to anyone. You also have the opportunity here, as you can see, to do different kind of things. You can add, if you can turn on a little bit more light, if you need that one, you can adjust light down. You have different kind of things you can adjust these things on. Another thing you can do when it comes to your profile is adding a background cover. And this is this one large one, this bluish one that I have here. This can again enhance people's perception of you. It can also be, it can be something abstract that doesn't specifically relate to your industry education, but you could also choose an image that actually supported this one. Again, try it. Make sure it's in high resolution. I would encourage you not to put too much text in, because remember, I think it's 65% of people are actually looking on your profile via the mobile phone. So it's better to have little text, but maybe a little bit bigger in size here. Again, click on the pencil if you want to change this one here. By the way, when you choose these background images, make sure that you take some that are a little bit more discreet in its impression in color and impression, because the most important thing for us to look at initially when we look at your profile is your profile photo. Just imagine that I turned this into one big yellow or magenta color or something like that. It would completely steal the attention from my profile photo. So make sure you use something that are a little bit discreet in its expression. Then we have a very important part, and that's the one that I'm framing here. You can see this one, and this one is called the professional headline. This is very important from a search point of view, and a way of you see this as like a compressed or condensed version of it. What is it that you're doing? What is it that you can help with? What kind of industry do you want to work with? And normally I would say that either you can use what we call the keyword version of it, where you put in keywords. For instance, on my one here, digital sales, social selling, that's keywords. Another way is using what I call the value model. The value model is the part where you actually sell what you help people with. And I also have that as part of my headline here. You can see I help customers. And the third version is to do a combination, the combi model, where you combine keywords and the value model. And I would normally recommend that you use the combination here, where you have keywords and you have also some sentences into this one. You can have up to 220 characters. You should be aware of that. I would prioritize the first 30 to 40 characters because, and let me show you this one by opening another browser here. When I'm searching for a person, let me search for my colleague Eva here. Then you can see when I'm starting to search for her, if I can type, then you can see it says Eva Saxe here, first degree, because I'm connected with it. And then it says LinkedIn trainer and expert and trainer. And that's another place where this professional headline is shown. So again, if you want to list, stress or enhance the fact that you're looking for a new job within this and that, try to write a professional headline that actually express this in the beginning of it, because it helps people when they search for you. The other part where it actually also helps this one is when a person, and let me just, you can actually see it here where it says CEO of Deloitte, that this one also is shown under the name here when people are publishing things. Again, you can see it here. So it'll also be shown there. And again, this is a way of learning or teaching your network to understand that you're looking for a new job within this and that sector, maybe even geography, if you could add this one. The third place where this also actually put in is when you type in a comment, this will also be named here. So when we search for people, when we are posting something, and when we're commenting things, we can use this one. Let me just show you a thing with my profile, because let's say that I lost my job tomorrow and we're looking for a new job here. I could easily change this one to being job searching, looking for a new job within social selling and LinkedIn. I could even see extended saying, looking for a new job within social selling and LinkedIn within Greater Copenhagen area. So this is a way again of enhancing to understand, to learn the network. What is it that you're looking for, and where are you looking in this one? 220 characters, as I said earlier, is the number of characters you have, and I would use more or less everything. I wouldn't just use 30 letters. I would really use this in order to keyword update and optimize your profile. Any questions so far, or is it okay? Yes. Another thing I will show you right now when we are working with this one is that I don't know if you've seen this, but in my profile on the right side here, it says English and Danish. That's because I've set up, I have one profile, but I set up it with 2 language versions for it. So that means and my colleague Eva has the same, so we can use her as an example. So here, when I'm searching for Eva up here and go to her profile, then because I'll just view full profile here. When I have set up my language on LinkedIn, and you can see when I mean language, I mean my system language here, where the menus in English, the browser or the LinkedIn will automatically show me if a person has a one or more language versions of their profile, it will show it in the English version here. I can see here by clicking on this one what Eva is writing in Danish, but it will automatically show me the version in English. Of course, this requires you to build 2, if you want to go that direction, to have 2 language versions. But the benefit of having it is that you will get twice the number of keywords. Does it make sense? That we have both Danish keywords. This is Eva's Danish keywords, her professional headline. She also has her about section in Danish. But since she also have the English ones, this one gives him more. Of course, you need to decide whether you want to put in the work in this aspect. You might have think, yeah, well, in our industry, everybody speaks English, and of course they do that. But from a search point of view, it can make sense maybe to make 1 or 2 or more language versions. But my point would, and pay attention now, make sure that all these changes and suggestions that I have for you, make sure you make one perfect profile. For instance, if I'll use you again, Mohammed, as an example. If you're using one and yours in English, make sure it's perfect in English, and then you can always make other versions. So start with one version, and then you can always add additional language versions. And it's very simple. I'll just quickly show you. If you want to decide to make another version, I'll just go back to the start screen here. I'll click on me, click on view profile. And then on the right side here, you can see this globe icon here. When you click on this one, you can choose to add another profile to your language or in the language that you would like. And then when I click here, you just choose the language, and then it will prompt you through name, titles, education, and so on by doing this one. But make sure your main profile is working before you start doing this.
I have a question, Leif.
Yes.
Whenever you
Shoot.
update something on one of your profiles, do you need to update it in both languages then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it will actually come in and let's say that I do a change in my professional headline in the Danish version, and I hit save, then it will automatically say, hey, would you like to update it in English too?
Okay.
So it will always try to remember, hey, you just made a change here. Maybe you should also change it in the other version.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it will help you. But again, going back to this, make sure you have one really good profile. And then when you've done it, it's fairly easy to do the translation for this one. All right, going back to this one. So the professional headline, I don't know why my profile image is suddenly disappeared. It's back again. Good. So as a homework for you, I would really encourage you to work on the professional headline. Maybe even look at it. It can be some of your colleagues, some of your peers, some of people in your network. If you see a really, hey, this was a really cool and clever way of writing, maybe I could make my own version of it. It's fine. Copy with pride. Find something where you think this is working, and then I typically change it once or twice a year by updating it with something. While we're here, let me also show you this one, which is the contact information. Make sure that you have updated as much as you can with this one. What I'm going to say now is just where I'm trying to joke about it, but it doesn't help that you're using the phone number for your summer house somewhere, the fixed landline. You need to put in numbers where it's easy to in contact with you, meaning the mobile phone. Normally, I would say, and remember, by the way, these detailed contact information can only be seen if you're connected with people. If I'm not connected with Anne-Marie, I can only see typically your profile name, this one where it says the URL here, and then maybe I can see a web address or something. I can typically not see your mobile phone number or your address. So we need to be connected, and I'll get back to in a moment that the professional, your summary should actually also add information, because if a headhunter is looking or a recruiting person is looking at your profile, they can neither see this one. So we need to help them by having it as part of our summary. But for us, where we're connected, let's say Anne-Marie and that you and I were connected, in order to make it easy for me to find your number, it's very important that we put it in the right places in the contact information, because then if I want to contact, mail you, call you, then if I go to on my mobile phone, click on Anne-Marie's profile, scroll to contact information, I can actually dial from there or send your mail from there. So again, homework, make sure your contact information is up to date. Let's say that you have a YouTube channel or a website or a blog or something like that. You can also add this to your profile. Again, if it's something where it shows a part of you or your interest, it can be fine to add this to your profile here. So update this. I'll go a little bit longer down now to this section, which is called About section, or the summary. If some of you, if you're looking at your profile right now, thinks, but Leif, I don't have that. Where is that? That's because if you have not activated, it will not show on your profile. So let me start by actually showing how you activate the About section. If I go up to my top part of the menu here, and I'm in edit mode, meaning I can see the pencils, there's this button. You should remember everything I say, of course, but this button, remember this, because this is what I call the LinkedIn super button. Right here in the middle, there's something called Add Profile section. If you click on that one, this is where you can add elements to your profile. The summary part, we can add position, education. So you can see down here under recommended features, license, courses, and stuff like that. And under additional, we can hear honors, reward, test scores, language, and stuff like that. So this button is and in your case, if you don't have, is there anyone if you haven't added the About section, click on the Add Profile, and then here under the core, you can choose. The reason why it's not here right now on mine, because I've already set it up. The idea, I'll just go back here. The idea with the About section is where the professional headline is like a condensed version. That's really the elevator pitch. You have 5 seconds to talk about yourself. Then the About section is the extended version. If you don't have anything in the About section, there's a lot of things where you're going to be not searchable on, because again, here in my case, you can put up to 2,600 characters. This is very close to this limit, actually. This actually allows you, again, to improve your profile from a search point of view. Again, you need to keep thinking keywords. Tell about yourself, how you're working, what you can be your values, the methods. How did you approach your study, things like that, because I guess none of you still don't have 30 years of working experience, so you can't write a lot about that, but you can write about what have you done so far, what has been the approach to your study, why have you been doing this, and again, use it maybe as don't do it like this text blog where there's no line spacing, stuff like that. Make sure you use what is called white spacing, because it makes it easy for people to read and to skim through. Even use bullet points if you would like to do that. And then you can see here in the end of my about sections, I added my contact information. And again, I do this because I want to make it easy. I used Anne-Marie as an example. If we're not connected, Anne-Marie, and I'm a headhunter and I would like to call you in order to hear if you would like to join an interview, the way you can help me to find information on you is actually to add this information to your the about section. Sometimes I get the question, yeah, Leif, but if the number is there, doesn't that mean a lot of people is spamming me, calling me with offers, you know, insurance and newspaper offers and stuff like that? It's not my impression that this happens at all. I mean, I have a large network, and I don't get these, at least not very rarely, I get this spam call. If I want to find a number for a person or a number of people, it's much easier to find other tools to search for phone numbers than to do it on LinkedIn. So you shouldn't worry about putting these things in. So my point would be that based on the professional headline, the compressed one, this is where we would write minimum 1,000 characters, not words, but characters. But if you can actually fill it up to 2,600 characters that are the maximum, that's fine. The more, the better from a search point of view, provided, of course, that you use keywords. And I'm going to come now with a really smart trick when it comes to getting help for these keywords. I would encourage you to look out for some of the ads where you're seeing specific jobs, because if you look for a company that are hiring or looking for a person like you, and you can see yourself, this job really looks cool, it's really exciting, it looks relevant for me, then you should make sure that the keywords that this company is using within their industry, make sure that your professional headline and your about section also reflect these keywords. Some industries have specific words. Make sure that you use these ones here. So there's a link between what the words that they're using and the one you are, because if they're using that in an ad, there's a really good chance that the recruiting people are using the same keywords. Does it make sense? Yeah, cool. I just need to have a sip here. So, professional headline, photo, background photo, contact information, about section. The next thing you can add to your profile is also this featured section. And this allows you to, hence the name, feature certain elements. It can be a post, something you already posted. It can be a PDF. It can be your CV. It can be a video. It can be basically anything. And again, if you don't have the section, go back to this super button, the add profile section. Then you have under recommended. Was another call? Let me see. No, I think it's because I already added it. You will, if you don't have it, go and find the featured sections. When I have it, I have just to click on this plus button to do it. You can also change the arrangement on what you want to see here. And it's a good way of showcasing. It can be content, it can be something for your education. And again, it's a way of being different than people who are not using these featured sections. You can see here, you can add a lot of these ones here, but I would really write, of course, here, prioritize the first 3 because that's the ones that are visible on your profile. So again, homework, select some things that you can put in on your featured section.
So could that, for example, also be linked to some of our research papers? Or...
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But Mia, if provided that, and that would be a cool way of doing it, but let's say that you have a PDF of the research paper, I would probably encourage you to upload it, because if you help me I don't have to leave LinkedIn right now, at least, then I can browse through this paper here. That would be really cool, actually. Yeah. And then, of course,
with the PDF, yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, it was just a good point with the PDF. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, of course, if it's like, let's say it's a long read or something like that, maybe it makes sense just to put in an image and then write a little bit out and say you can read about it over here.
Okay.
But if we can upload images, video, stuff like that, it helps people to look more at, because then they don't have to leave LinkedIn right now. So PDF or similar is preferable. And here you can see, I would just click on plus, Mia, and then there's add media, point to your PDF, and voila, then it's on your profile. So a really cool way of doing it here. I'll scroll a little bit down to the experience section. Of course, it's important that you make sure that to whatever degree you have in regard to your work experience, that it's up to date. I work together with a headhunter. He says, even if you had a job as a bartender, it's still a job. It still shows that you kept yourself active. So make sure that it's up to date. And of course, the same applies for the different kind of educations, licenses, and very important, you need to pay attention again. I know you are. But this part with skills should also be updated. You can add up to 50 skills to your profile. And the skill part is again a way of keyword optimizing your profile. You can take this skill quiz, but it's a way of helping just if you don't have the right word for it. But again, look at some of the job ads that they're using, the companies that they're looking for, and then make sure that you actually update these. Again, you can prioritize them. You can see here that you can, as I said, add up to 50. There's a difference between industry knowledge and interpersonal skills, but you can also change which one you will have to be shown or not. Final part of the profile is just a few details. Again, here, make sure that you add languages here. And when it comes to languages, in this section here is the language that you actually speak. So you can see here, if I add a language here, I will add German, for instance. You get some different kind of things you can choose between here, and then you can click on what proficiency do you have within this one. Again, it's a very good idea to add to your profile. Again, from a point where I know Flemming, this headhunter that I know, he also sometimes use this to actually search for people with these language qualities. So that's it with the profile. You can say it, of course, it can take some, let's say, realistically 1 to maximum 3 hours to set up a really pristine gold profile. So this is not something that should take days. But the reason why you should spend 1, 2, 3 hours to make it to a really good level is because then the profile will start work for you while you sleep. It will be searchable, it will be updated. And when you have to update a profile, the next time you have to update it is when you get a new job, or even, and when you get a new job, I mean, I look from updating perspective, I do it once a year. I spend 10 minutes on my profile when it's first up to date. So prioritize this part, as it's very something that can help you a lot. Yeah, any questions so far on the profile? Does it make sense, this with keyword optimizing and this? Really prioritize this. And a thing I would like to offer you is that not if, but when you're starting to work this one, if you have any questions after this session, or you would like to have a second opinion on your profile, feel free to connect with me, feel free to write with me. Hey, Leif, could you take a browse on my profile and see how does it look? I would be happy to help you with feedback. You don't have to pay anything for it. I just would like to help you, but it's you who need to contact me to have the help. So that's a free offer. Take contact with me if you would like to have this help. All right, I'll just change back to my PowerPoint here. This part with the all-star, if you do all these things that I talked about, this point it will be removed and you will get all-star status. All right. So reserve time in your calendar to finalize this part so that you prioritize this. This is the absolute most important part because it makes you more searchable. You should also look into your network and expand your network. We often ask how many connections should we have. We normally say you should strive to have quality, as this guy Thomas say here sometime. Some people have the view that the more connections, the better. My view is the fewer irrelevant connections, the better. My point by showing you this is go for quality, even though I haven't checked how many connections you have, but let's say that you have 200 or 100 or 75 or something like that. Don't start to connect with everyone. Connect with the right person. It's a good idea to strive for minimum 500 connections, but don't be a rush. It's more important to connect with the right ones. And the idea is to make sure that we actually get a good idea on who should we be connected with. If I were you, I would really consider looking for people who, let's say that you see a job post on LinkedIn. Let's say that you see on a company page so that they have a post there. Let's say that it was our company. We're not looking for anyone, but let's say that I had an advertisement out on LinkedIn or posted about it, and you could see yourself in this role. And it can also be these posts where you say, if you have any questions, feel free to contact Leif Carlsen at this and that number. I would search, and I'll show it to you here. I would search for this person. Let me just find LinkedIn again here. I'll just use, let's see here, should be checked. This guy here. I'm not connected with this guy here. So I search for a person. And by the way, I would never do this on a mobile phone right now because I want to make sure that I have the right text, that I have the right keyboard, and also because I can easily duplicate text by having a Word document where I do this. But let's say that Tony here is the guy, he set out a job ad. So what I would do is you need to search for the person and go to the profile. You should not do this. Let me show you this. If I write here Tony in the search field and just search for all results, you're getting what I call a search view here. Let me just show all of you here. So you can see some of the ones I'm not connected here. For instance, this guy here, it says connect here. Never connect in this list view, because if I click on this connect button, it's sending an invitation, what is called an empty invitation as the off. So this person doesn't know what my intention is. So if I want, I'll just use this Tony as an example. You need to go to the person's main profile or the profile here. And now you can see the button turns blue. So if I click on connect here, I can now add a note. And what I would, let's say he's looking for a person, say, dear Tony, we don't know each other, but I saw your ad regarding this and that job. I could see myself as a candidate for this one, and would like to connect with you in this conjunction. Hope you'll accept my invitation. So that's a person who's actually putting out a specific job. Let's say that it's a person that hasn't put up a specific job, but you can see it's the hiring manager or the HR manager or a headhunter. I would probably write something like, dear Tony, we don't know each other. Currently, I'm in a situation where I'm newly educated and looking for a job within this and that. In that conjunction, I'm actually expanding my network and hoping that you will accept my invitation to connect. You can write up, you can see that the number says 300 here. You can write up to 300 characters, so you need to keep it short. But actually, and that's why I would encourage you to start a Word document so you can actually write these things down here, so you can make it easy for people to actually write these invitation texts. I would also, depending on the situation, what you're going to use them for, definitely duplicate this so you make it more efficient. But of course, make sure you change in naming on the people what they're called, because otherwise it's going to work very different on what you're doing here. So let me just show you quickly again. I'll just not send to this Tony. So I can either search for a specific person. I'll just use the search person up here. I will search for Tony Andersen, and then he will come up here. If I search for more people, I can even, let's say I search here for HR manager. I can apply filter. I say people. I say here with the filter, I am only interested in Greater Copenhagen here. Show results. I'm only interested in people I'm not connected with. So it needs to be third and second and third. And then I'm saying, don't connect via these list servings. Always go and visit the person's profile and then click on connect and write a personal note. So that's the way to connect with people. So to stress this part here is or emphasize this one. It's very important that you also start to connect with people and expand your network, because this will help you to increase your reach, and it also might is the way of actually getting some interviews or at least some dialogues with people. Also, be curious with typically headhunters. They are very they're normally very open for expanding your network. Again, keep an eye on your feed. Maybe people would turn up that are actually recruiters, or you can search for this one. They'll simply be very happy to connect. So again, to emphasize this is homework. Make sure that you expand your network with relevant connections. You can even start, let's say this was a cup of coffee in the morning, drink coffee with your LinkedIn profile and start to see if there's people you should connect with and expand your network with. It could also be if you're attending a, actually today I'm in Odense because I've been on a LinkedIn summit. And of course, when I meet new people, of course I connect with them, write a text, find them on LinkedIn, invite them in. So when you meet people, also when you go to interviews, make sure that you connect with people. All right, the final part of this session is to talk about what you can also do in order to become more public with that you're looking for a job. And the thing here I would like to talk about is if you have your profile up to date, then it's really good, because then it will work for you, but people need to search for you. What I'm talking about now is that you would like to actually push people to let them know that you are open for new opportunities and that you're looking for a new job. And what I would like to share with you now is a way of doing it, because what I'm talking about now is, of course, if we're publishing a post on LinkedIn, it would be a really cool thing if we can put in an image. We should need some text. We can put in hashtags, 3 hashtags in the end of the text. Don't put it as part of the text, put it in the end. But this is a way of building up. But what I would like to show you as an example, and what I'm going to show you now is it's actually 2 examples. One is really poorly performed or executed, and one is really extremely well executed. And you can copy the idea of this one directly here. So let me show it to you. It's this one here. So I've blurred the names and everything, so you can't see the name of the person. The right person is one that Eva, my colleague, is knowing, and that's why I'm also be able to show you the numbers she reads from this one. And I know you don't necessarily, first of all, you can't see the images, this one, and you might not understand Danish, but the difference between these 2 versions is that the one on the left side is actually not looking very smiley. I know that because I've seen the right post, of course. She looks a little bit moody, a little bit like, and the person starts with this text where it says, first of all, I would like to wish you a happy new year. I hope you had a good start. And most people, when I show them this one, they actually see the post as a happy new year post. And it can be from a person that you really don't know, whereas the person on the right side, this person immediately declares what it is that she needs help for. She says, "Dear network, will you help me with a like? That would help spread the message that I'm looking for a job within this and that section." The other thing is that the image is better from a format or proportions size. The other one is very long. And the person on the right side is smiling out like, "Dear network," looking happy and reaching out. And then she also added a visual element on the top on with the same call to action: "Dear network, would you like to help me with a like?" And the difference between these 2 is you can see the one on the left at the time when I took the screenshot had 16 likes and 4 comments. The other one had 1,846 likes at this time when I did the screenshot, and 123 comments. And you can see now here, I cannot tell you how many impressions the left one have, because I don't see the numbers. I don't have the numbers, but we're talking hundreds or maybe 1,000 or 2,000. Whereas this one, you see here on the right side, had more than 130,000 impressions. It's really crazy how many impressions this one can give. And this person actually got 20 job offers based on this one. About just over a month ago, I was in Aalborg also doing a more or less a similar presentation for some students up there who are also getting prepared to get out on the job market. And there was actually a girl among the participants who saw this, the same one. They also had a photographer that day, and she was just like, I'm going to do this. So she went out to the photographer, had a really good shot, professional shot, but also smiling, did the same visual one image. She had like 165 connections initially, not a very large network or something like that. And within a week, she had I think close to 200 likes. It had more than 25,000 impressions, even though she had a very small network. The person here has a larger network, but not nearly not completely like 1845 or 46. So if you want to push things in regards to being more proactive with actually asking the network for help, this is the way to do it. Don't make it hard. And by the way, you can do a selfie, you can have a person who takes the photo. It should not be a professional, it can be a professional profile photo, but it's actually best with what I call an authentic, like a smartphone image. You can even do it like to a webcam. The most important is that you look at the camera, smile to the camera. You can even do like this, like a thumb up, and then you can use any kind of tool. It could be made in PowerPoint to put in this text here, and then copy this one. The first line, dear network, can I ask for your help with a like? This will help me spread the message that I'm searching job within this and that sector. What I'm looking for is this and this and that. I would like it to be within this region or this geography. I see myself as a person, blah, 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 all these things. And then again, publish. That would really, really do a difference here. I would encourage you to do this. This is a really efficient way, and you would probably be surprised how much help you can get from the network and the network's network. So do this as an example. And again, feel free to contact me if you have a question before you do this. You can even write the text to me. I'll be happy to come with feedback to you for this one here. So put time aside for this one. That would definitely do a difference here to actually publish this kind of things. A last thing you can do to be more visible is, of course, also make sure that you go in and like and comment other people's posts. If you do this, it will automatically give more visits to your profile. Of course, it should be what I call cool posts, comments. It should be something where it's relevant, where you can help or give feedback or something. And also by giving it a like, that can also help on giving more visibility on your LinkedIn profile. All right, wrapping up. Remember one thing when it comes to this part with your LinkedIn profile, and this is not what I'm going to win a Nobel Prize for, because it's quite obvious, but it's all about execution. So we spent about an hour together now, more or less. Now you need to execute. This is the way of getting thing out of this one. Make sure you update your profile, just revisit the replay video from Pernille when you get that, and just sit with your LinkedIn profile and sit and work on this one. 1 hour, 2 hours, maximum 3 hours, and then you're going to have a cool profile. Start to expand your network, search for people on a regular basis, and then also start to publish this kind of things. Then you're really on your way of becoming much more successful with LinkedIn, more visible, and hopefully also helping you by getting a new job.